Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keene. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out, www.thebestdamnpodcast.tv. Follow me, Instagram, at Best Damn Podcast, Twitter, at The Real Best Damn, and wherever you're watching from, please make sure to give us that like, hit that thumbs up, share that link, get it out there, spread it far and wide. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know if you resonate with some of the things that are going to be said tonight. And make sure to subscribe. Click that notification bell, that way you guys can get notified of all the latest shows. And keep in mind, guys, we are completely viewer-powered. That means we're fully funded and supported by you, the listener and the viewer. If you'd like to donate and support the channel today, you can do so by hitting one of those links in the description box below. PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, or Facebook Messenger Pay. And to everyone that does donate and does show some love and support, big ups and big thanks to you guys. Much love to all of you guys, all you channel members and Patreons and all of that, man. And if you guys have donated in the month of August, you can check us out every week on Discord for the Best Damn Fam Live, our private and uncensored content. And you can get access to the Best Damn Fam Live content on our Dropbox. We have over 100 shows. They're all of them at least 2-3 hours long, of the darkest of the dark when it comes to conspiracies, occult mysteries. It's just complete taboo, man. That's why it's uncensored. The community guidelines just would not let anything like that fly. We do those shows at least once a week. Sometimes we do 2 of them a week. So anybody that donates and supports will get access to the Discord to be able to watch those shows live. But if you want to actually join the membership, Best Damn Fam Live, it's $35 a month. You get to watch the shows live. You get access to the private content, extended tarot readings, astrology posts, merch, all types of cool stuff, man. It really, really is worth it. You guys can also join us on our Facebook fan subscription, YouTube channel memberships, or pledge over on Patreon and get a new free merch item every 3 months. And if you guys are interested in booking a tarot reading, they are $50 a pop. And if you donate PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, just in the notes, put tarot reading, and then you text 513-393-2396 or email therealbestdampodcast@gmail.com, and I will book your tarot reading within 24 hours of payment, and I'll either send you a personalized video for your specific tarot reading, or we'll sit down and do it over on Discord. It usually takes about 30 to 45 minutes. If you're interested in booking a soul profile, this is something only I do, man. This is like original to the BDP. So, and I have done them. They're pretty cool, pretty awesome. We do a personal tarot reading. I take your personal astrology and show you how the current celestial alignments are going to work out with all of that from your natal chart. We also look at the ley lines in which you were born, and if there are any vortices and different cosmic energies that flow on those specific ley lines that have correlations to you. We go into the etymology of your name, the gematria of your name, your numerology, and your life path. It really, really is cool, man. But those take 3 days. So you get that within 3 days, and they are $100 a piece. So just put soul profile, text that number, email, or put your number in the notes when you do that, and I will contact you. And it takes 3 days because I got to do all that homework on you, and then we sit down, and it's an hour sit down, and we do the energetic, intuitive reading and tarot reading. It's really fun, really cool, and all of these are really great ways to help support the channel, as well as check out the Best Damn Podcast merch store. I never plugged the merch, man. Over on YouTube, Facebook, I believe Twitch as well. All of our stores are the same. It's our Spreadshirt shop. I design all the merch myself, and I try to make it as cheap as possible. So I make like the minimum profit, to try to give it at affordable prices for you guys. So check that out as well if you're interested in the merch. I design all of it. So yeah, I'm working on new designs, trying to update the website, social medias, and get everything running because I have got some new ideas, fresh, innovative ideas and series that are going to be coming, guys. This channel is about to really, really crank it up a notch when it comes to the conscious community and what we are about to do. We are about to do big, big things. Now, tonight, we are going to start my new series called Me and My Shadow. We are going to do some shadow work together, friends. We're going to talk about shadow work. And this is part of this inspiration I had, essentially, because of a process I've been going through myself personally. And I believe throughout this series, what I want to do is document a lot of the different synchronicities and anomalies that I myself am experiencing. I'm going to start keeping a journal of all my synchronicities and, anomalies and different things, as well as a dream journal. And I'm going to start sharing all of this stuff with you guys. My manifestations, my scripting, my positive affirmations, my book of shadows. I'm going to bring it all out there and, kind of incorporate it into these teachings. And we're going to go into really, really deep territory when it comes to the sacred sciences, when it comes to alchemy, DNA activation, downloads, codes, and how to make ourselves more magnetic, how to stand within our own magnetic frame. That way we hold space and are able to attract all of the energies that we are looking to attract within our lives. That way we're in a space to where we are in our power. We're going to start looking more and more at our shadow side and our inner child and what it is that triggers a lot of our trauma we experience today and what karmic cycles actually have to do with this, and how can I take my experience, the experience of you guys. I really, really want to encourage group participation during this project big time. I did a show last night and the chat was straight up lit. I mean, people were engaging and they were sharing their personal experiences as I was going through mine with them and telling them about what I'm going through currently. And they were going through the same things, and it was just absolutely magical. And I believe that this is going to be an amazing way for all of us to not only be able to get together and have group chats and talk about these things, but for you guys too, to have places to write down your testimony. I'll share your experiences on the air, as well as I always read the chat and stuff like that. But people can be able to engage with one another, that we can take our experience and what we're going through and try to explain what's actually taking place during this paradigm shift. There's new energy coming in. There is new energy coming in. And you can call it pseudoscience. You can call it hocus pocus. I don't give a fuck what you call it. If you're not experiencing it, then you do not know. But you will. You will. I believe we will all know. We will all experience this energy. We will all be made aware of the karmic curse that is on humanity as part of this Saturn matrix that we find ourselves in. This holographic reality, this simulation, this black mirror reality that we find ourselves in. I can tell you there are many, many paths, many, many possibilities. Matter of fact, infinite possibilities are you able to create for yourself within this experience. You are in control, ultimately, on the road and the fates that you choose or not choose on your way to destiny. your way back to your soul, your higher self, your oversoul, the true you. That's the only true path. That is the narrow gate. That is the way back to God. In my Father's house are many mansions, right? That's your mansion that you're going back to. A lot of this will be uncovered by esoteric knowledge, such as astrology, alchemy, numerology, sacred geometry. We're going to look at all of it, man. The Hermetic principles in particular. A lot of this knowledge is now being found and correlated directly to our sun, solar activity, the way that positive and negative energy is in flux, and the way that these ions are charged, and cosmic rays and cosmic information, and how that correlates to us, and how it actually affects and activates our DNA. And how the process of transmutation takes place through our DNA and our nervous systems. It goes so far to literally go up our kundalini, our spine, activating our chakra system, activating our third eye, and our conscious beacon, opening us up to the collective experience, opening us up to dimensional realities, quantum realities that we could have never possibly been opened up to before when we were sleeping. This is a rare time when we get to the end of the cycle like this. Special time. Every prophecy on the face of the earth, every prophecy, every religion, every spiritual school of thought talks about this is the time. Like you're lucky to be in this time. All the prophets of old wanted to live in what you're living right now, wanted to experience what you're experiencing right now. We are in the cosmic cycle of the highest conscious state, the most information and energy ever available to the human species. Do you know how big that is? Do you know how big that is? Do you know how dangerous that can be? I mean, do you truly know how dangerous that can be? To you. To your own experience if you don't know what you're doing. You know, this energy can literally take your life. You can take your own life because you're in charge of your life. So if you allow yourself to buy into old systems of fear, guilt, shame, old dogmas, indoctrinations, and belief systems that no longer serve you and that keep you trapped in that dualistic, paradoxical reality that we've all grown so accustomed to our enslavement in, our bondage in, you will get that old reality outcome if you so desire, if you so choose. This reality shift, this Black Mirror shift can be heaven or hell. Literally, heaven or hell. Depending on you. Depending on what you choose to experience it and how you choose to experience it. This is about getting our thoughts in alignment, controlling our own thoughts, taking our thoughts captive, being the masters of our own minds, taking that crown of thorns off, and setting our minds free once and for all, stepping outside of the Saturnian box. This is about being a master of your own emotions. Not allowing your emotions to pull and drag you and sway you into every energetic, vampiric, parasitic connection on the face of the earth that's not meant for you either. This is about preserving your energy. Learning how to take that energy that, and when we first come into consciousness, and this is what's crazy, when you first begin to travel, friend, it's hard to keep your consciousness on the inside, to keep the genie in the bottle, so to speak. We're going to learn how to do that. I'm going to share my misfortunes with you, my struggles with you, the things that I've went through throughout this process, and my understandings at the time, as well as my understanding at this time and in the future. It will change, I promise you. Probably drastically. We're going to decide what it is that we're engaging with here. Is this energy, is it alien? Is it alien? Is it Satan? Is it darkness? Is it Lucifer? False light? Is it all of the above? Is it what religion told you it was? Is it what your parents told you it would be? Do any of us truly have an idea of what it is? Are we so powerful, so beyond the scope of our normal, perceived, everyday, routine reality, that we don't recognize our own selves, and that's what it is? This is a challenging time, but the payoff is huge. This leads to total enlightenment, total illumination, total freedom. You want to be a free agent within the system? This is the way. You want to light the lantern of the hermit? This is the way. You want to understand how to empower yourself and stop dealing with, dogmatic prayer and, witchcraft and spells and all of this, and use your actual mind, your soul, your essence, your being to mold and shape the entire reality around you. This is the way. It will not happen without work and commitment. I promise you that. I promise you that. This is the advanced class. This is the advanced portion, friends. This is the collegiate level of consciousness, of spirituality. You won't find this nowhere else. You won't find nothing like this. Because people aren't even aware, really, of what they're going through yet, let alone have went through enough to be able to share anything about it or even try to understand it. But in this family, in this group, people have. And we have pillars in our community that have. I have. This very well could change the entire reality, the entire world, the entire outcome that we have been told we must have by religion. Do you understand how important that is? How important you are, depending on what role you choose to play. It all depends on you. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? We're getting ready to lead you to water. Lead you to the light. But you will have to walk down a dark path. And the only light that you will have will be your own. That'll be the only guiding light you have, will be your own, as you go through your dark night of the soul. As the astrological energies intensify. Because as consciousness expands, as the veil or the magnetic field continues to go into reversal and flux, more and more of those cosmic rays and information are coming in. So the downloads are coming whether you're ready or not. Ready or not, here they come. These planets going into retrograde left and right. Ready or not, here it comes. It's coming right back at you. Eclipses and new moons and all of this different lunar energy. Ready or not, here it is. Numerological portals associated with archetypes and seasons, as well as astrological alignments. It's here too. We are going to teach you how to understand energy from a whole different plane, from a whole different level. Spirit from a whole different plane and a whole different level. This could very well change the way the world looks at the world. Think about every ending of every cycle. I want you to think with me. Think with me tonight. How do they end? How do they end? Every time. Bueller? Anyone? In catastrophe. Catastrophic. Cataclysmic. Mass extinction events. And don't tell me that's conspiracy. It's scientifically proven. It's fact, brother. The soil, the geological data, it's all there. The topographical land, it's all there. The proof is in the pudding. It's all there. Why is that so? Why do we receive deluges, and fire, and evil winds, and the elements turning against us the way that they do? Why do vengeful and wrathful gods and stars come back to the earth the way that they do? This is something we may very well just find the answer to. Are we bringing them here? Are we drawing this energy and these energies and these catastrophes in by our lack of our ability to be able to perceive the reality for the way it actually is? Our lack of ability to be able to have clarity when we look into the mirror of reality. It's very, very foggy and very, very dark for most people. Even when you wake up at first, it's still very dark, very foggy. It takes quite a while to cleanse all that out, to clear all that out. And it only gets cleared out by working through your karma and overcoming old karmic cycles. It's the only way you can clear up that image and see with clarity. And out on the waters above the firmament and below the firmament, there are pirates. Trust you me. You need to know how to navigate. You need to have friends out on those rough seas. A network, a group, a family, a community. One that accepts one another for exactly who they are. No judgment, no restriction, no limitation, no expectation, no obligation, no hesitation. Come as you are. No matter your age, sex, race, creed, sexual orientation, political orientation, it doesn't matter. You are accepted here. You are loved here. You are welcomed here, because here you are divine. And you are part of a soul family. We are more than a community here. We are a family. It's the best damn fam, as in family. And we are bound together. We are tied together by our shared experiences. When we decide to come together and do these different builds and learning that we're doing now, and we'll be doing tonight, we're about to get really deep into in just a moment. We're taking all of our collective energy and we're focusing it on something. We're in receptive mode because we're open and we're ready to receive. We are channeling said information right now, allowing ourselves to be vessels for that information to flow through. And we're making it open and available and holding this space that way all people seeking the truth, seeking freedom, seeking love, seeking a benevolent place to find rest, to find safety, to find comfort, to find support. We're opening that up for you right now, like it's here. And I'm offering you, from me, all my knowledge, all of my wisdom, all of my love, all of my gratitude, all of my thanks. And I'm sending you peace and joy and love and abundance and prosperity and healing. And I'm telling you that you can manifest anything that you fucking want to. You're in charge. You write the story. You are the scribe. You are the artist, the painter. What picture are you going to paint for your life today? What picture do you want to paint for your life today? And you know what? I apologize to people, but I don't apologize to people at the same front. It's taken a while for me to find something that excited me again. I was holding back. I thought, I was worried about being judged, and I was worried about, and we're going to talk about some of these things that actually are really key about like not expecting things and all of this, right? I had a lot of things that were hindering me in my journey, in my path, right? And on my way to where I'm going. But I knew deep down that I had to find something to break out of the old. That I could no longer do things the way I used to do. That I had to find a way to express what I know now. What I'm going through now. In a way to relate it in such a way that other people can say, hey, I'm going through that too. I'm experiencing that also. Like, just like you, bro. And for the people coming into it that way, they had somewhere, someone, people, multiple people, pillars, to help guide them through this. Nobody really guided me through mine. I damn near got myself killed like 10 times. I'm not lying to you or exaggerating one bit. That's how dark the energy can get. The universe will give to you whatever you ask for. Whatever experience you want to create, you will receive. Be careful what you wish for. My old reality, my old experience, my old karmic curse was a bitch. I was abused a lot. I was a victim of electronic torture, government mind control, victimized by different cults and groups and cliques and organizations and peoples and myself more than anything. Because it was myself that was creating the need for those experiences and projecting the energy onto the groups, the organizations, the peoples, and all these things to even have those experiences. And I refused to see it. I refused to believe it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't take it in. I couldn't come to terms with the fact that it was me. It's like, what do you mean? I'm not doing this. I'm not making these bad things happen. I'm a victim. And as I said that, as I felt that, I became that. I became powerless in my own world. I became out of tune with my own soul, with my own being, with my own shadow. I ran from myself. I got to the point to where I was using drugs to hide from myself. Because when I traveled, when I began to wander, when I began to ascend, the experience was so intense. The shift in reality was so dramatic, so profound, that my mind couldn't wrap around it. My mind couldn't handle it at times. It damn sure didn't understand what was going on all the time. I became paranoid and suspicious of everyone and everything. I began to isolate completely. Everyone and everything I became a victim of, and put myself behind another bar, another prison, day by day, all by my own fears, my own thoughts, and perception of the way that the world was and is. Now you tell me, man. What type of life do you want to have? Do you want to know how to stay in the place to where you can actually keep that spirit inside of you when you need to and protect that energy? It's a pretty handy thing to be able to do. Just saying, take it from somebody who couldn't keep it in and lost it for a minute. Lost their own soul, their own shadow for a while. Try doing that. Being at the whim of the world instead of in your power. And the world being at your whim. I promise you, if you give others control of you, they not only will they take it, they will capitalize on it. Because the way most people see it in the spiritual realm, in the astral, they see it, if you don't value it, then you don't deserve it. And they're more than willing to accommodate you with the lesson you need to appreciate it. More than willing. And if they can keep it, they will. Because it's like finders keepers, right? Remember, this is pirates. This is on the waters of the firmament. This is in the courts of heavens. This is the highest place of existence, of dimensional existence we can exist in. This is heavenly beings. This is your heavenly being aspect of you. This is what you're going to tap into and what you are tapping into. This is that Aquarian energy. The paradox shift. If you only knew how important you were, and a lot of you do now, right? How many of us, show of hands, how many of us had to learn how to love ourselves and actually thought that we did, and it even may have appeared like we did, but found out that we didn't love ourselves at all? How many of us had to completely relearn how to love ourselves as we began to ascend? I definitely am, Jordan. I haven't even had a test. Maybe that's part of it, right? Everybody hit that like in the chat for me too, guys. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. That's huge. But how many of you, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see how many people struggled to keep their own consciousness and the genie in the bottle. Right? When the cat finally got let out of the bag and you finally were unlocked, how many of you guys could keep the genie in the bottle? How many of you guys got capitalized on by other people? How many of you guys were manipulated by others, by outside influences, external influences? How many of you lost your privacy and became spied and trolled upon and doxxed and cyberbullied because you weren't in your power? How many of you became imprisoned to money or lack of money or the things that you need in life because you couldn't see the currency flow of the matrix that you live in? Well, we're putting on the armor tonight. We're going to understand. You're going to understand this is a spiritual battle, but it's at one with you, yourself. So yes, put on the full armor of God. Strap up. Strap up. You are going to battle. You will battle with your darkness. You will battle. You have to tame that beast. You have to tame that beast. Matter of fact, let me pull up a quote here. Let's see if we can pull up a quote for you guys. I love this quote, actually. From the Gospel of Thomas. Okay. When he talks about the lion taming the man. Hold on here. Let's pull it up here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm looking for this here. Here we go. Here's some. I'm going to go through a few of these, actually. Jesus said, "It is impossible for a man to mount 2 horses or to stretch 2 bows. And it is impossible for a servant to serve 2 masters. Otherwise, he will honor the one and treat the other contemptuously. No man drinks old wine and immediately desires to drink new wine. And new wine is not put into old wineskins lest they burst. Nor is old wine put into a new wineskin lest it spoil. An old patch is not sewn onto a new garment because a tear would result." This is about putting on your new self, your new spiritual self, stepping out of the shadows and into our higher selves, our true selves. Healing the shadows so it can integrate into our higher selves, our spiritual selves, and understanding that our physical vessel is the cup that holds the wine. It is the antenna that receives a signal. Our chakras are our systems of alignment. Our nervous system is how the electricity flows. Our spine provides us that staff, that rod, that scepter for that serpent to crawl up during the Kundalini activation process, creating the sacred secretion within the pineal gland, the land of milk and honey, the anointing of the Christos. Trying to find a particular one, guys. Hold on here. About the lion who becomes the man. Hold on. Don't run off on me. Give me just a moment. I wanted to find this on the spur of the moment. Then we're going to get into the stuff here. Wretched is the body that is dependent upon a body. And wretched is the soul that is dependent upon these two. Wow. Wow. The kingdom of the Father is like a certain woman who was carrying a jar full of meal. While she was walking on the road, still some distance from home, the handle of the jar broke and the meal emptied out behind her on the road. She did not realize it. She had not noticed no accident. When she reached her house, she set the jar down and found it empty. She was broken and she was leaking her energy. Her wine, her oil for her lamp had been stolen. Her power had been relinquished. Her crown had been taken. And this is the dangers about ascending and stepping into a realm without rules, without restrictions. There is no law outside of the bounds of Saturn. And that Neptunian, Uranian energy, there is no law there. That is the world of dreams. That is a conscious realm of a higher dimensional vibration. There is nobody to intervene if you engage in warfare or acts of warfare with other entities, other people. So if you are entering into this lawlessness, right, through the process of illumination, don't you think that it would probably be a good idea to understand how it actually works? What's actually going on in your world and why things are so fucking upside down right now? Why so many people are oppressed? Why so many people are attacked? What's actually happening with all of that right now? What's making that go on? And why people are handling it, each of them so differently? Alchemy, blood, bloodlines, gold, and consciousness. Some of the darkest shadow aspects are unreachable in a sane way. I have a few things to address, but nowhere feels safe to expel. I don't even know how to address these few things. Drop them in the chat, man. I'll try to read them. Drop them in the chat. I'd love to hear them. Honestly, as long as they're not like super, super long. But yeah, like I'm... we're gonna go through the process tonight, okay? And we're gonna get into the shadow. This is a series, and this is a guide to conscious ascension, right? That's what this is going to be. This is going to be part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got multiple series that are going to have different types of themes. Like one of the series I'm going to do is going to be me sharing my personal experiences with everyone. So like my journals, my scripts, my affirmations, my dreams, like all of it I'm writing down. All of my synchronicities I'm writing down, and I'm going to share my evidence with you that this is taking place within my life. I will film whatever I can film, record whatever I can record. I will record and take down your testimonies as well to incorporate into that actual show, that segment, that part of this learning lesson. And these learning lessons are going to all be part of our own mystery school, our own mystery college, if you will, here at the Best Damn Podcast. That's what we're going to start, and eventually it will become, something way bigger to where there is advanced courses and all of that, and we'll have all of this up on Patreon after it's aired live with all of the books that are attached to the different lessons in PDF form. That way you can download it and go through it. So this is going to be like a big major thing I'm wanting to do, and it's going to bring value to something. In my opinion, content creation has lost value damn near, right? And I knew that Spirit was keeping me around for a reason. I'm like, damn, okay, what's going on here? I know the truth is valuable. I know spirituality is valuable. I know teaching is valuable, and I know seeking illumination and having a spiritual family is the most important and most valuable out of all of it. And I wanted to preserve our community more than anything. But it's like, wow, we're making $0. We're getting no financial support whatsoever. People are not getting into it. They're not feeling the content. I mean, I'm not feeling the content. I've lost my passion, my drive. It's like, what's going on here? It's like I was fighting against a brick wall, beating my head against the wall over and over and over and over and over again, and not getting nowhere and killing myself doing it. Working 70, 80 hours a week at creating content for a world that's gone. For a world that's gone. And I'm not going to dwell on the time I wasted doing that. I needed to do that. That was part of my experience, and that's who I was in that moment at that time, and that's who I needed to be then. So I won't beat myself up or apologize for that. That was part of my lesson of learning how I needed to let go of some things, and my old way of thinking, my old way of seeing things. My old beliefs were the number one things. My self-limiting beliefs especially. The lack of clarity. Because I was in the fog. I was going through the dark night of the soul so intensely, and I still go through them. Guys, they don't stop, by the way. The cycles continuously cycle, and each time we're purging more and more of the darkness out of it, more and more of the distortion out of it, or we're creating more distortion within it. It's our choice. But either way, the pendulum swings, right? The orbit continues. And that circular motion within this black mirror, and you have the responsibility as a conscious creator, as a co-creator and powerful manifester, magnetic being that you are. You have the responsibility of transfiguring that energy, of healing the wounds of your shadow self and your inner child. That's your job. That's your job. You're the true backbone of the operation, the spiritual team, the spiritual marriage that's taking place between you and your soul right now. You are the backbone of that. You are the rod. You're the wand. I hope you know that, right? You're the pen for the scribe. The reality's the paper. You're playing that role of Enoch. You're playing that role of Jesus. You're playing that role of Peter. You're playing that role. You're playing that role. It's all about you. It always has been and always will be. But can you accept it for the way it really is now? Can you see it from a different place, a different level, and let go of the old ways? The old perceptions, even the ones that we created over the last couple of years. Can you let go of all we think we know now? and take a leap of faith towards yourself. Make a grand investment in yourself. And do it together with like-minded people that are on the same path as you. And there's no question about it. There's no lukewarm people in this community. There's no lukewarm people in this community. It's full of pillars within this community. People that have been at this for years, decades. And they do their work daily. And they master their craft greatly. And they all have their own variations and styles and methods and ways that they do things and beliefs. And they're understanding how to embrace that now. How to look at themselves without shame, without guilt, without seeing themselves as a victim anymore, as powerless anymore. They're learning to look at themselves differently. And have compassion on others and compassion on themselves, most importantly. All of the self-limiting beliefs they're dissolving. They're evaporating. It's like they never existed. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Like they weren't really real. Like all of our limitations weren't really real. I tell you what, I'm starting to question, guys. Do we have to physically die? I mean, do we though? Is it quite possible that maybe we could actually, if we mastered our magnetics, if we mastered our consciousness, if we mastered our reality and our paradigm, if we mastered that, could we shift into such a high frequency that we transcend the frequency of death? That we change the substance of the particles of our being? We transmute the entire alchemy of our being and our existence into an eternal fixed state? Is that possible? The Emerald Tablets of Thoth believes so. It talks about meditation 2 hours to the north and 2 hours to the south each day. Talking about the poles, which are polarities, right? Positive and negatively charged ions. This is binary code. This is the system. This is the matrix. Just observe without attachment. Yeah, well, being the observer is a huge part of this, but we're going beyond the observer now. And I agree, though. Being the observer, Cleric Knight, that's a beautiful comment, by the way. Without any attachment, it's amazing. And you have to hold space. You have to stay in balance and stay in tune and stay in alignment. Sometimes you just need to be the observer and do it without any attachment whatsoever. We have to let go people, places, and things. Everything from our old world and our old life has to be released. It doesn't mean we can't have those people, places, and things in our new life, but we just can't have them in the same way. We have to recreate the dynamic, to recreate a reality. You understand? We are scripting an entirely new paradigm here. I wonder how many of you guys are truly understanding what's being proposed right now. What's taking place right now. What you're actually a part of right now. I wonder how many of you guys are actually going to be able to grasp the concept yet. We could very well be the first group of human beings ever to come together and consciously decide to create the future outcome of our species. Wouldn't that be some shit? if we were the first group ever to actually have ascended enough, transfigured enough to have ourselves in that high space in reality, but still be grounded a little bit within the old. So to have the knowledge at our hands and gnosis within us, each and every one of us, and to be consciously connected to where we could actually transmit and receive, and the entire reality is now open to transmit and receive because the veil is dropping. And to be learned enough to actually understand the processes and sciences and precepts and how each and every aspect of the reality is built and how the matrix runs and is created and works and reflects and attracts. And to take that knowledge as a group, as a spiritual family, tied together by our beliefs, our common core, our common ground here, which is here. And taking that and consciously deciding together what we collectively want to create, setting collective intentions before each and every show, and before each and every project, before each and every task, we will set our intentions together. We will also learn how to do it individually as well. We will set our intentions in our own individual lives, empowering ourselves. Not only will we set our intentions, but we will learn how to create our own frame of space. And I'm going to teach you a few techniques then these are techniques I've actually been studying recently because I told you I had a problem, like a real problem. I am a traveler, okay? I am a traveler. I have a variety of psychic gifts. I have telepathy, for sure. I have the gift of prophecy. I'm highly empathic and intuitive. I am a very good reader, and I can even write and create and paint and do a lot. I can do a lot. But when I started tapping into the side of the wanderer within me, you know, that deep mystical side that travels. And I love traveling, by the way. Traveling is my number one thing to do. It's my favorite thing to do is to be a traveler. Okay? To be that free agent. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's no greater experience. It's amazing. It's beautiful to be able to put yourself into another person's space, quite literally. And to allow others to experience you and to channel you. And to channel yourself through all people. All things. To see yourself in all people. In all things. That's what a traveler does. That's what happens when you take the governors off, guys. I'm trying to tell you. Reality isn't what you thought it was. Not at all. Not at all. But when we do that, because we've had to learn throughout our lives, because we're empathetic, we're all empaths, most of us. I'd say all of us in this group are empaths. But because we've had to learn to use our empath tools to constantly through childhood traumas, right? And having to project our consciousness to other people and focus our energy outwardly to other people in situations to manage and even manipulate the energies around us so we could survive, right? So we could survive. That's why we did it, you know. We were trying to feel safe. We were trying to, you know, and if we were abused, if we were neglected, abandoned, hurt, whatever it was, we were trying to feel safe. And a lot of it started with our childhoods and continued throughout our entire lives. Because what happens in your childhood is that energy that feels like home to you. That's your familial energy. So you will go chasing that familial energy in all of your relationships, your jobs and careers, and all of your karmic experiences until you overcome those familial curses, those ancestral curses. Energy that has traumatized you and created those inner child wounds and scars within you has probably done it from your parents, and they transferred it onto you. Their parents transferred it onto them, and so on and so forth. And that's an ancestral curse. And it creates a system of bondage and debt and death and debt as well. This reality is based on debt. The system is based on debt. It is a reflective system. That's why those who practice Luciferianism, they stay in the gray. You understand? It's to keep balance and harmony within the system, the matrix. That way they don't go into the negative and owe out energy for the things that they do and say and experience. They balance the bad with the good, so they can walk on the water of the firmament instead of drowned in it. So they can be free at the top where the air is and breathe instead of suffocate and suck water as they sink to the bottom of the ocean. Like a large millstone thrown in, and think about the Bible. It says, anyone who'd harm one of these little ones, it would be better to have a large millstone hung around their neck and be tossed into the bottom of the sea. What do you think they're talking about when they say that? By the way, the Bible is the most esoteric, mystery-laden book in the history of all books. It's the number one occult book in the world, the Bible is. To harm one of these little ones is talking about your inner child. It's talking about the Christ child that's being birthed in you right now. You're travailing in birth pangs right now, by the way. As your higher self is birthing that inner child, and that shadow is being brought to the surface now, being brought to the light, nothing can be hidden anymore. Right? You're travailing in birth. You're pregnant with yourself. And giving birth is making the two become one. It's marrying the two, the father and the mother, the divine masculine and divine feminine, and producing the Son, the Christ, the Son of God within you. Atma. Adam. Adamus. That's why in the flood stories, the old ancient flood stories, a lot of them depicted men as having to turn into fishes to be able to survive the great deluge, the great flood. When all the land was brought underwater except the highest temples of light, or one man and his family. Over and over and over. I think there's over 600 different cultures, ancient cultures, that have that same flood story, deluge story. Or the children of Poseidon that are mermaid children, right? And swim in the water. Same thing. Pisces, the fish. Jesus, the fish. Right? Walking on the water. Them turning into fish so they could swim during the deluge as the waters rose. It's the spiritual waters. It's because the veil has disappeared that holds back those waters. So the world floods. And the spirit and the ether, it becomes all spirit, all ether, all energy, no veil. So karma is instant. Manifestation and attraction is instant. There's no buffer zone anymore. There's no field to slow it down. There's no magnetic plasmatic field to slow it down anymore. The energies. to block the energetic downloads and DNA codes that you're receiving from the coronal mass ejections and the solar flares and the celestial bodies that are passing by and the asteroids and the debris and all of that. It's all giving all of that, different energies. We've talked about that. Dark Energy was the name of yesterday's show. Go watch it. I'll make sure to put it at the end of the video so you can click on it there. We've talked about how solar maximums and solar minimums create different types of energies that are more conducive to certain types of spiritual vibratory states that have direct influence over your auric field, your aura, your soul, your spirit. And at the dark energy, the negatively charged ions, information, the minus part of the binary code, the zeros, right? That it's more conducive, these energies are more conducive to vampiric and parasitic energies to thrive, right? They have more to feed off of because they feed off of the dark, murky waters of the firmament, okay? That's where the transformations takes place. That's why you have the power to tread on scorpions. Scorpions are under your feet because they're down at the bottom, right? Where the dark, deepest hidden emotion in murky waters is. Heard of the Scorpion King, right? Or the locust, which is a flight of nations with scorpion tails that come up out of the bottomless pit. It's representing transformation. Scorpion represents transformation. It is symbolism. It's allegorical, it's metaphorical, it's metaphysical. Alchemy, bloodlines, golden consciousness. When one looks at a drop of blood under a microscope, its color is gold. Sparkling, shiny, beautiful gold. Gold makes up about 0.02% of human blood. And remember, in the Hebrew etymology, gold, biblically, means the heavens. Gold, biblically, means the spirit as well. And now we see that gold is also in blood. Blood is the life, right? Sacrificed his blood on the cross. His gold on the cross. Your spiritual gold is your spirit. It is the heavens. Throughout history, humans have valued gold. And remember, this is a system of debt and sin. Sin is debt. Karmic debt. Karma is debt. It's currency. Karma is currency. Right? One way or the other. Positive currency or negative currency. On a circular system of flow, a spherical system of flow, it ebbs and flows. It goes around and around in an orbit or a cycle, just like all of our spherical wombs within this matrix do. And as it does this, the different energies that it interacts with creates different reactions. Every action has a reaction. So as your planet, if you will, is spinning through space, right, with its satellites around it and all the different things within its life that influence it, which all have their own energetic signature as well, that influence your energetic signature, your magnetic fingerprint, if you will, because that's what a magnetic signature is actually, it's essentially a fingerprint. Each planet and celestial body has its own unique individual magnetic fingerprint, just like you have your own individual unique magnetic fingerprint as well, right? And it's found on your literal fingers and toes and on your hair, and everything about your body is due to your individual magnetic frequency that also correlates directly to your individual genetic code. Your DNA. Your individual DNA and genetic code directly correlates and connects through your astral cord to your higher self and your individual and unique spirit and soul. That unique spirit and soul projects a reflection as its light down into the waters below, the mirror below, the black mirror, the dark mirror below, and creates an image, reflection, a projection of itself. And that is called your shadow self. Your shadow side, your lower, your carnal side. These are the greater keys and the lesser keys. And you, my friend, are part of the triune being. You are the sun. You are the masculine shadow side and the feminine light side that creates the mother and the father that creates the son. Right? You are the vessel that holds them both. You create the Trinity, the triune being. You are the the forks, the pitchfork that Poseidon holds. Right? The Lord of the water. Ea, Lord of the water. Enki, Lord of the earth. Throughout history, humans have valued gold. Why is this planet so in awe of the beautiful metal? I think we're starting to understand, aren't we? It's spirit. It's energetic transfer. Anytime you do a job, you do a work. Right now, I am giving you all of my energy in an energetic exchange. As you give me your attention and your energies, right? And in the chat, you send in questions and comments. You're putting your energies into the pot too. You focus your attention and you observe, right? Putting your focus and energies onto the channel. As I'm channeling the information right now that's flowing in through you, through the chat, and through myself, through my own third eye and conscious receptor. Right? And we're exchanging energies. We're exchanging conscious information right now. Not only am I speaking to you phonetically, verbally, but my subconscious is decoding messages in a lower vibratory state underneath the vocals of my words as well, just in case you didn't know. I believe some of that could be described as electronic voice phenomena, actually. What we call disembodied voice. The consciousness speaking at a different frequency because it's in a different dimensional realm, a different aspect or paradoxical aspect of ourselves, a different quantum state. Because we are simultaneously existing in all different dimensional realms and aspects right now. Every move, every blink, every thought, there is a variation of said move, blink, and thought that creates a different branch off from my conscious present state and a multitude of realities and possibilities and experiences, because we are creating every possible experience that could be experienced as a part of being the source, right? Which is infinity. It is infinite. So it is constantly replicating, self-replicating, fragmenting, right? And creating, breaking away into different energetic vibrations to create every possible experience that's ever been had, and in every possible being, living or otherwise. Every possible world, reality, I mean all of it. Universe, multiverse, upon multiverse, upon multiverse. And that's what you're an heir to. That's what having that 363 or 360 degree view is all about. That's what it means to be on Mount Sinai, Mount Hermon, Mount Olympus, Mount Zion, right? The Temple Mount. To be crucified in the place of the skull, Golgotha. To die to your thoughts and your perception of the world. the way that you perceive things and see things, your moral dogmas, your religious dogmas, your indoctrination, your systemic education, your official narratives, your historical accounts. And when you're crucified from those, when you die to that, that crown of thorns is removed from your head. You're no longer a mental prisoner to the Roman system, to the Babylonian system, to the Canaanite system, to the system of Moloch, to the Saturnian system. You're no longer in the cube. You have opened Pandora's box, and Pandora's box means choices. Choices. What are choices? They are experiences. What are experiences? They are possibilities. Pandora's box is just the opening of the Saturnian cube, creating a multitude of experience and possibilities and choices. We have two choices in this paradoxical reality: either the opening of the box and choices, or no choices at all and total enslavement. Which one do you choose? To be put in a box and bound to this physical reality, to this conscious vibration, this low vibratory carnivorous state that we find ourselves in? Well, not us. We're finding ourselves actually out, on our way out of that, able to produce our own abundance now. How beautiful is that? How many of you guys are starting to learn how to influence currency to benefit you financially? I would love to see how many people are able to do that yet. And do that now. That's what I'm working on. That's what we're going to be working on. But we cannot do these things if we don't understand how all the energies work and how they're all connected. We have to understand first at a scientific level, and an anatomical level, an astrological level, a geometrical level, a numerological level, an alchemical level, symbolical level, metaphorical, allegorical levels. These are all different principled experiences, dimensional experiences or dimensional truths and realities, and ways of expressing the extra dimensional reality we exist in, the infinite space we reside in. These are our tools in the toolbox. And I hate to tell you, these secrets are occulted. That means they're hidden. They don't give the master keys out to anyone, guys. You have to earn the master keys. You have to sow good seeds. One of the best ways to create happiness and goodness, it said, I was watching the Dalai Lama yesterday, actually. He said it's charity. It's charity. It's acts of selflessness and kindness that bring us the most abundance and prosperity in our lives. So you can see why churches, right, 501c3s, have capitalized so much off of passing the collection plate, right? Because there really is a benefit in it, you know. And it goes back biblically, to Old Testament, tithing, 10%, right, to your church, tithing. It's a tenth, a tithe, a tenth. Abraham tithed the tenth to Melchizedek. Abraham, right? Tribe of Ham. Ra, Abba, Ra, Abra, like abracadabra, Abraham. And his seed would be the multitudes of the grains of sand on the shore of the sea and the heavenly host, right? The heavenly host, the multitudes of light in the firmament. We are both. We are the grains of sand. That's our shadow self, is the grains of sand on the bottom of the waters below. Under all that water, all that pressure. See, that pressure is creating something. We're refined by the fires of affliction. John the Baptist, he came to prepare the way, right? And what did he do? He baptized by water. Water, that was the old way, the old paradigm, right? And remember, men were turning into fish. I believe it was the Maya and a few others, actually. Could have been the Aztecs and a couple others. I mean, there's like quite a few where men turned into fish to survive the deluge, to survive the end of the cycles, right? Because we were overcome by the water, the ether. These elements are powerful, y'all. And we were consumed by it because our lower carnal selves that was under that water was enlarged. And our light was hidden. A lot of us got out of tune with our light or gave our light away. Allowed our light to be devoured. Allowed others to take our light from us. Or fed our lower carnal self, our shadow self, with our light to where there was no more light left. So you can use either or. You can devour either one. Right? First comes the warrior, then the shepherd. The warrior is the shadow self. It's the ego. It's the carnal self. It's the lesser key. It's the lower side. One of the least recognized reasons is that liquid gold in blood holds cellular genetic memories that include creation. The Anunnaki in gold. Ancient archetypical symbols. Whoops, hold on, guys. Got my mouse all screwy. Oops. All right, sorry about that. Ancient archetypical symbols are being activated through the golden conductive properties within us. And remember, we do have base metals that reside within our system, like copper and iron, right? Copper is a conduit for electricity. Okay? Iron is part of the blacksmithing process, the smelting process, right? Striking the hammer. Okay? Creating the spark, the eternal spark, or the flame, the smokeless flame, the archonic flame. It's iron mixed with miry clay and the beast of Daniel, right? In the book of Revelation. Iron mixed with miry clay. Remember, Prometheus stole the 50 sparks, right? 50 sparks, and mixed them with clay to create man. The sparks were iron from Saturn. Saturn is the god of this world. Saturn is the masculine, mammalian, father, paternal figure, carnal figure, god of this world. He is Enlil. His feminine aspect would be Sophia, or the Holy Spirit, or Christ, or Lucifer, right? That would be the divine feminine aspect of it, and it would be your higher self, your spirit, the mother, the divine nature. For the alchemist, gold represented the perfection of all matter on any level, including that of the mind, spirit, and soul. If we take time To look into the science and spirit of gold, we will find many interesting similarities and understand that the purest aura around the body is golden white light. Look at that beautiful, beautiful aura. Golden white light. Where have we seen golden white light before? Here, I'll show you where we've seen golden white light before. Remember the golden ratio, right? The golden ratio. Here you go. Well, that's not the halo I was looking for. That golden white aura. Hold on. That's what it is, guys. It's your halo. That's why you see the depictions like this, right? With the big golden or white circle around the heads of the saints throughout the history of time. I don't know why it's not giving me anything even halfway decent here. Here we go. It's a little better. See? Archangel. What's he got? Golden white light. It's because he's a son. He's become a son. Remember, the angels are the heavenly host and they are the sons of God. The angels have no gender, right? They came unto the daughters of men. The daughters of men. Men, male, patriarchal, carnal, Saturnian, carbon, iron energy. Okay? It's the masculine, the physical, the lower vessel. All right? They came unto the daughters of men. The daughters of men would be the divine feminine, the Holy Spirit of men. Okay? Which would be our higher selves. Okay? The sons of God. See all the depictions with the halos around their heads. All the depictions with the halos around their heads. It's because they were enlightened. They were enlightened. Look at that. Even Jesus was enlightened. Look at that. How did they know? How did they all know and see the same thing? This is what, notice he's got a crown on this one. Why? Because this is you stepping in to your birthright. Becoming the son. Becoming the son of God. Reaching illumination. Reaching enlightenment. But to get there, you have to refine yourself by the fires of affliction. What are the fires of affliction? What does it mean to be afflicted? Let's look at the word affliction. Affliction. A crippling affliction for the nervous system. Poor people in great affliction, an instance of one celestial body afflicting another. Affliction of pain or humiliation. Middle English. Religious self-mortification. What? Religious self-mortification. Religious self-death. Mortification, to be mortified, mortared, pistol and mortar, turned to stone, to be ground up, to be dissolved, to be purified, to be refined, afflicted, self-mortification. In the beginning, golden threads combined with blood to create a bloodline that carries the DNA code for the movement of consciousness in the alchemy of time. This is your golden ratio. The golden ratio is also called the golden mean, golden section, divine proportion, golden proportion, golden number, and phi. Right? Or 5. Like the pentagram or pentacle in the tarot. Right? The pentagram as in Lucifer. Enlightenment. Illuminated. The light. Lucci. Lucky. Right? You're lucky with money. You win. You gamble. It's current. It's currency. It's energy. It's energetic flow. The waters, they're tides, they rise, they fall, they deluge and flood. Has anyone looked at our incredible blood under a microscope? What color was it? Gold. Sparkling, shiny, beautiful gold. If you have not witnessed this, try to find someone with a microscope and put a drop of your blood on the plate and look at it. You will never forget its beauty. Now translate that beauty into how we have valued gold over the millenniums. Wars have been fought over this substance. Magicians have used it in their works as chief alchemical substance. The Constitution recognizes it as only one of two legal tender, silver being the other. And remember, silver represents the lower side in the spiritual. Being refined into silver is the shadow self, right? So the gold is the higher self, the silver is the shadow self, right? Or the physical. Now translate that beauty into what we value, or why is this planet so in awe of this beautiful metal? It holds cellular, genetic, and geophysical memory. And remember, I talk about how the 7 colors, which correlate to the 7 chakras, the 7 colors, which correlate to the 7 chakras. Let's see if we can. And this is your flow of energy, your serpent, your rod, your staff, the crown chakra, the brow chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus, the spleen chakra, and the root chakra. Chakras above the head bring one into higher frequency. They range from 4 fingers to 1 foot above the crown chakra. The highest chakra is often referred to as the soul star. See the depiction here, the soul star. I believe it's represented by violet, if I got it correctly. Chakras as spiral cones. And see, spirals, they're vortices of energy, electromagnetic vortices. Cyclones, hurricanes, tornadoes. I told you guys, the cosmic cycles, we see it in our weather patterns as well. It doesn't miss anything. Our reality, spirit permeates everything. It's all energy. See the third eye, pineal, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, that's all being funneled out of the body. These are points. This is study of acupuncture is, taking needles and relieving pressure off of the nervous system to allow these points to flow energetically. The third eye, pineal gland. 12 around 1 spiral and cones of creation. Chakra and color frequencies. Red is the first chakra, the base or the root chakra, the Kundalini root chakra, located at the base of the spine. It's represented by earth, survival, grounding, stillness, contains the primary 8 cells that have all of the knowledge of creation and remain the only cells in your body that do not change in your lifetime. It grounds us into the physical world. And this projection exercise, for those of you that are traveling and having trouble kind of bringing your energy back, because like I said, we've all been trained through traumatic experience, inner child wounds, to project our consciousness externally onto others and our energy onto others to make up for the distortion or the lack that they created within our aura, our sphere of influence, our comfort zone, right? Their energy created disruption, so we would compensate because we were empathetic by sending energy out, and we would do it through being passive aggressive. We would do it through being victims. We would have this energetic exchange by being needy, right? All these different energetic exchanges of lack, right? Giving our energy to situations that didn't give back to us. And because we learned to do that, whenever we began to come into higher consciousness, as a result of us not having the stability created during our developmental years as children, it caused us to block our bottom three chakras, which are all about stability. It's our core. It's what connects us to the earth. So what a lot of us did whenever we began to awaken was we shot past those three chakras and went straight up into our third eye. Right? Straight up into our third eye. Because that's a defense mechanism of the consciousness, right? If it has no stability in its base, in its root, and it can't feel grounded there, well, the next logical place is to go to the top of the mountain, right? To where you can have that 360-degree view. Okay? And from the 360-degree tower, from the New Jerusalem, from the third temple, the command center of the consciousness, you are able to control things, right? You're able to control your reality, your perception, your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, all of it from that place. And you're able to project from there as well. So we go up there with that 360-degree view and we begin to project our consciousness out onto other people and situations, sending our energy out onto other people and situations. And we're giving our energy away. And even losing our energy in some cases. Because there are people that are there just to take it. That understand how to feed off of that energy. How to actually block your stability. That's why people do witchcraft and curses that block finances. That block love. That block your safety. Because they're trying to block those bottom three chakras. They're trying to block you from putting your energy back into your own body, your own vessel, your own cup. They're trying to keep you from filling up your own cup. That's why witchcraft works like that. That's why people bind those things. That's why they attack those things. Because then remember, where intention goes, energy flows. And thought is creation. So if they can block your stability and keep your energy from being in its vessel, from being in its core, from sitting in its cup and you filling up your own cup energetically, and your thoughts are focused on them and the things that they've done to you or are doing to you, then where's all of your energy going? Good or bad? To them. To them. By binding you, hexing you, cursing you, traumatizing you, they disrupt that energetic flow within the root chakras, right? The red, orange, and yellow chakras to be precise. The orange chakra, the second chakra, the spleen, located just beneath the navel and related to our sexual and reproductive capacity. Blockage manifests as emotional problems or sexual guilt. See, notice, once again, blockage, right? Blockage against love, blockage against sex, using guilt. Yellow, the third chakra, the solar plexus, and the seat of emotions. Gives us a sense of personal power in the world. Blockage manifests as anger or a sense of victimization. When we become the victims, we become powerless. When we become angry, we have intense and sharp bursts or projections of energy towards others. When you block your love, when you block your money, and you block your emotions and your heart, you block your stability. When you block your stability, you block your route to where your soul resides. Your energy resides within your vessel. And it doesn't allow for that energy to stay in the vessel. And as it goes up to that third eye, that 360-degree view, whatever you're focusing on, whatever you're thinking about, and because you've been programmed to handle your energy in an inverted way, an upside-down way, because you've been taught exoterics your entire life, right? An upside-down world. Because you've been trained to do that, and you're an empath, you have developed the habit of projecting that energy to compensate for the others around you, to create the sense of stability and security through your willpower, through your conscious mind, through your third eye. And that energy goes to those systems, situations, right? And becomes part of karmic cycles. Right? So wherever that first stability was lost at childhood, that first wound, right? It creates a distortion in the orbit or cycle of your life, a bump in the road, if you will. So each time your energy orbits back around, as you orbit the sun, we call it birthdays, right? Your solar return. This is your orbit, your karmic cycle. As you do that, each time these traumatic experiences are created, these traumas are created, these wounds are created within your shadow self, within your lower self, right? It creates distortions in the energy field, and it warps the energy field, which warps the disc or the magnetic groove that your celestial body orbits on. It rides on a wave, a magnetic wave. It's like a magnetic groove. So each time distortion is created, it warps the groove, the road that you ride on, the orbit that you go around. It creates turbulence. Well, if you are continuously being traumatized at young ages throughout your entire experience, well, each time that you have another solar return and you go back through that, if you haven't overcome that and ironed out that distortion, that energy, and process that emotion and let go of those attachments, you're telling the universe that you haven't learned from the experience and that you need it again. So you will start to call in more upset experience, more abandonment, more hurt, more trauma, more abuse. And by doing that, you're just creating more and more distortion. All of those distortions is debt. It's debt. It's the systems you failed to see. It's the energy you failed to return. You didn't make good on that purchase, that energetic exchange. Each energetic exchange is a purchase. That's why Christ said, "Buy from me," right? The gold refined by the refiner's fire, the gold from heaven, right? Buy the gold from me. He was trying to tell you. This gold gives you freedom. You can pay off all of your debts. Remember, he died for your sin debt, right? How crazy is that? Crucifying yourself at the cross with the thief on both sides, the fork, the folk, right? The pitchfork, Poseidon's trident, And Jupiter, who is crucified upside down, or the T, the Ankh on the inverse, right? The lower carnal half, inverted. We see the Sumerian pictures with the pine cone in the bucket, or the magnet in his hand. Or how about Aquarius with the pail in his hand? Same thing, same concept. Having a wand in one hand, a pail or a bucket or a magnet in the other, or a book in the other. That's the inverted side. The shadow side is your inverted, you're crucified upside down in your shadow, in your lower self. Okay? Why? Because as above, so below. Remember, the waters below the firmament are a reflection of the heavens above. They're a reflection, so they're upside down. Whenever you look into a puddle of water, you see an upside down image of yourself. Right? It's reflected in the opposite direction. It polarizes in the opposite direction, the image does. Yellow, the third chakra, the solar plexus, seat of emotions, gives us a sense of personal power in the world, manifest as anger, a sense of victimization. Green, fourth chakra, heart chakra, blockage can manifest as immune system or heart problems or lack of compassion. And you can see the colors right here, right, being funneled through. This is that vortex, that electromagnetic vortex. And remember, anytime people do paranormal research and they ever see a ghost, or what we would title a poltergeist, what you see is white energy that looks just like this. It spirals like this and will move. And it can be seen in the infrared light spectrum. It moves fast too, and people believe that's disembodied spirits or consciousness. And a lot of times it's proven that it's intelligent. That's through electronic voice phenomena and white noise and all these different radio frequencies and electromagnetic waves, right? Which are essentially all that they're actually doing is distorting the frequency or the dimensional realm in which you're existing in. That way you can tune into the other dimensional aspects of where the energy would reside if it were communicating to you. Because just because it looks like a little spiral of energy on this plane doesn't mean that's what it looks like on its dimension. You know, it might be a giant in its dimensional realm. You might have it. That might be an entire solar system, right? Just a little sprinkle of energy. Blue, the fifth chakra, throat, tied to creativity, communication, feels pressure when you're not communicating your emotions properly. And remember, the heart center, the seat of the soul, is the outer glass of time. Sixth chakra, third eye pineal gland, often connected to the forehead, is a physical eye at the base of the brain with the capabilities of looking upward, clairvoyance, psychic abilities, imagination, and dreaming. Purple, the seventh chakra crown, connects you with the message from higher realms. Can be experienced as a pressure on the top of the head, spiritual connection, understanding and knowing, bliss and God. You can see crystals being used with chakras to create balance and healing. Because those seven rays, right, those seven rainbows, right, that is the Ark of the Covenant. Remember, archangels, right, the Ark of the Covenant, archons, right, which is government, or the governors, which are the rulers of this reality, the principalities, powers, and dominions. We battle not against flesh. And those colors correlate not just to different energies such as emotions and thoughts and all of that, or different parts of the body as your heart and, you know, things like that. Those colors also correlate to the days of the week. They also correlate to planets, the seven planets. They also correlate to deistic spirits, deities, related to said planets. And those colors go down into minerals. So whenever you see the emerald tablets of Thoth, right? The emerald tablets of Thoth, let me show you something. Green blockage can manifest as symptoms of heart problems or lack of compassion. Emerald green, Thoth or thought, right? The Atlantean priest king, okay? It's your manifestation through your heart center, which is what generates the largest electromagnetic field throughout your body, right? It has a minimum of a 6-foot radius around you at all times. It's generating that large of an electromagnetic field. It's where love flows in. Remember, you have brain cells in your heart. It's making the two become one, the heart-brain connection. Remember, the original language was a guttural love language that came from the heart. The heart pumps life throughout the entirety of our body. Green is related to emerald. Green is related to Thoth. Green is related to heart. Thoth is also related to Lucifer. Lucifer is related to love. Love is related to the heart. Heart is related to earth. The earth is green as well. Green is also related to grass. Grass is grazed on. Green is also related to decay. Decay is fed upon. Moss is fed upon. Right? Whenever you're green, you're new at something, or you're something that can be fed on, ate on. You're green. Green means go. Go. Ogdode. Dogon. Go on. You see the notes, right? The musical notes or phonetic vibration or frequency that they are connected to as well. So the colors are connected to notes and letters, symbols, minerals, right? Archetypes as well. Isn't this crazy how deep it goes? And then they go into base metals and minerals, and these 7 rays are the Ark of the Covenant. That is the covenant with God, the Creator. The archons are the ruler of the reality. The governors are what keeps you constricted within the bounds of the Saturn-Moon matrix. Right? They provide the boundaries, the celestial influence. They are the washers, the messengers. They're the watchers and the messengers. They were just supposed to watch. But they influenced, didn't they? Why is this planet so in awe of the beautiful metal? It holds cellular, genetic, and geophysical memory. Remember, there's geophysical ley lines, right, which are energetic, electromagnetic, energetic lines, or a grid, an earth grid of electromagnetic energy all across the planet that is built in correlation to all of the world's pyramids, right? Large monolithic structures for phallic symbolism, as well as the Trinity within the pyramid systems, right? These large pyramids, which are all sacred geometry, okay? And because of their sacred shape, that shape creates certain reverberations of sound. It manipulates the matter or the vibrations of the ether around it and emanates a certain frequency outwardly and inwardly, creating energetic frequencies of sound. And 369, right? These numbers, okay, right? And we get into numerology and all of that, right? These universal numbers. They are tuned thought waves, if you will, or thought forms, right? A primary part of the archetypal system, right? And think about this too. It's a Trinity, 3, 6, 9 as well. The triune God, right? The threefold being, mind, body, and soul, right? Jesus was 33, okay? Then you see Satan, he's 666, okay? 9 is completion. These are the numbers that create the energetic flow or reverberations of the phonetic energy throughout the realm. And they use these different stone structures. And remember, these stone structures are forms of mineral. It's living stone, right? Mineral, right? To conduct certain energies, right? Whether copper, which conducts, is a conduit of electricity, or whether they were using fucking limestone or emerald, right? Whatever stone they were using, they were trying to conduct a specific type of energy. That energy directly correlates to a specific archetypical deity or deistic spirit or something embodied. That's why they do offerings and sacrifices to deities, because it was to that archetypical energy that they were trying to bring in and attract. They were bringing gifts. They were laying down energetic tools that actually attracted said energy that they wanted to bring in through their rituals. Their rites, right? Their rites. Read me my rights. These rites are forms of empowerment. Ancient archetypical symbols are being activated through the golden conductive properties within us. People's dream states are being more lucid. People are having simultaneous dreams with others. Then they are comparing notes with the other people the next day, only to discover that the other people also remember the dream interactions and they were the same. Gold and blood seems to be a common thread linking all species near and far. Gold is the most perfect of the metals. For the alchemist is represented the perfection of all matter of any level, including that of the mind, spirit, and soul. It's associated with the operation of coagulation. And that is the opposite of blood being alive and filled with providence and fertility and all of that positive energy. That blood contains plasma as well, right? And it becomes negatively polarized, right, as it coagulates. It's decomposed. It's dying. Right? It's blue blood when it's inside your body still. The alchemist represented the perfection of matter on any level, including the mind, body, spirit, and soul. It's associated with the operation of coagulation. If we take time to look at the science and spirit of gold, we'll find many interesting links and start to realize why the purest aura around the body is golden white light. We are gold, precious and rare, and gold is associated with royalty and kingship and queenship, right? Remember, the Anunnaki, the gods, okay, or the angels, the sons of God, had an archetypical system and hierarchical system, right, with priests and kings. You descend from this lineage. It's one soul infinitely resurrecting in spirit. And for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. The Son, right, which is the result of the masculine and feminine energies coming together. Begotten, right? It came directly as a result of the two became one, creating the Son. He gave his only begotten Son. alchemy, the symbol of gold of great worth, the transforming of philosopher's stone, lapis philosophorum, hunted for centuries by the alchemists, is to be found in man. Alchemy in its infancy was primarily an experimental process dedicated to transforming physical material lead into physical material gold, and ancient alchemists were the scientists, i.e. the chemists of their day, right? And the children of Kim, right? The land of Kim, or Egypt, right? Egyptian mysteries, Babylonian mysteries, the mystery schools, to be initiated and adept on your path of illumination, which is enlightenment. Everybody make sure to hit that like and hit that thumbs up, fam. I appreciate you guys out there in the chat. Thank you so much, all of you in the chat. I appreciate all of you and your feedback. Bro, come on now. That's actually false. Blood isn't blue. And no, the body, I thought that once too. Blood appears blue when it's still inside of the veins. Okay? Colors are hues or spectrums of light. Alright, so you can say that no color is truly the color that it's represented as because it's an electromagnetic frequency, and it's the way that it is perceived through a spectrum of a holographic, or a magnetic hologram, essentially, right? So something can be blue in one frequency or one spectrum under one filter and be red under another. So what you're saying is actually false. Don't say that in the chat unless you got something to back it up, please. But you're more than welcome to disagree, but just actually back it up with fact, because that's misleading as shit. Inner transformation. The fascinating thing that when seen through a symbolic psychological lens, right, and that lens, that refractive system that bends and distorts light, okay, no, I know you wasn't trying to put me down, but you said actually that's false. That's not true. Don't, you know what I mean? That's not true. You had nothing to actually back up what you were saying either. If you want to disagree and you want to make a point to try to disagree, you know, and say that something I'm saying is untrue, then you need to back it up with something. That's the spirit of healthy debate, right? But just saying, declaring, making a declaration is an opinion, right? And opinions aren't fact. Facts are fact because they stand on their own. The truth stands on its own. Reality will bear out what is being said. It'll be tested, weighed, and measured. Precept upon precept is how the truth is built, right? That's how we make these builds, right? And that's what we're doing right now is through the process of alchemy of the entire reality. We are building and creating the substructure, the anatomical structure in which we exist in together. When oxygen hits blood, it turns red. Absolutely, Philip. You know what you're talking about, brother. Yeah. See, and science proves that, right? That's a scientific fact. So I'm not trying to call you out there, Cleric. Please don't get upset at me. I know you're a regular viewer, and I'm not mad at you, homie. Thank you, Nude HD. Why? Somebody please block the fucking sex bot here. Let me see if I can block the sex bot here. As much as I love sex bots, should I put it as a let's hide user on this channel. Okay. All right. When it goes back to your lungs, it's blue because it has no oxygen. Wow, that's an interesting fact. All right. Well, if you looked it up, then prove it, man. I'm not going to argue with you. Quit doing that, dude. It's observably blue looking with your eyes when you look at your veins. That's fucking observed. Okay? Inner transformation. I have come to value alchemy for its rich symbolic content and imagery. I have unearthed, and that's what I mean. Those type of things are so unimportant to argue about. Those are like the things that do not matter whatsoever, right? I'm trying to explain a point of how we use our lenses And through different substances and filters, it creates different spectrums of light because we live in a holographic simulation, right? It's an electromagnetic hologram, right, of light and sound. I have unearthed numerous indicators that even some of the earliest alchemists were aware of corresponding internal process taking place within the human psyche. What truly set apart the symbols of transformation found in alchemy was in fact due to the early alchemists' beliefs that they were strictly dealing with physical, chemical, and material processes. Carl Jung began to investigate the psychological components of alchemy in the 1920s and throughout the 30s and 40s and 50s and wrote a number of books interpreting alchemy within the context of his psychological ideas. In order to study this subject further, he began to collect a library of alchemical books. Jung's idea of the archetypes of the collective unconscious resonated with the elaborate symbolic language of alchemical texts, and I believe the collective unconscious is the shadow self as well, and provided scholars with a new way to examine alchemical material. During the earliest 20th century, the cultural climate and the preconceptions of reductionist science made it almost impossible for scholars to look at the ideas in alchemical texts, and the scholarship of this period merely presented alchemy as a historical phenomena, a precursor of chemistry. Alchemy was at the time only investigated by occultists and historians of science. Jung's courage in grasping this difficult material and providing ways in which we could penetrate alchemical ideas without losing scholarly credibility led to a serious reprisal of alchemy which continues to this day. The most accessible of Jung's alchemical books must be Psychology and Alchemy, which was derived from Eranos' lectures given in 1935 and 36, and his first deals with the dream symbolism and the imagery of alchemical material and presented the picture of the alchemy is a sea, the waters of collective archetypical images which can still surface in our dreams. The sea is the waters above the firmament, right? The heavenly waters. That's why it's space ships, right? Your ship, your vessel. The Egyptians went on boats, right? When they went into the underworld, right? The waters below the firmament, the waters above the firmament. That's what all of the glyphs were on the pyramid walls. They were electromagnetic frequencies or symbols, right? As part of processes and procedures to equip the person's soul for the trip to the underworld. It was the building of the spacesuit, if you will, to go outside of the collective consciousness in outer space, the outer psyche, past the veil, into the dream world, into, the paradoxical reality outside of this paradoxical reality that we call death, but is truly the birth into life, into spirit, into conscious existence. For example, he looks in depth at parallel between the philosopher's stone and the Christian mythos. The Lapis Christ parallel, as he titled one of his chapters, Psychology and Alchemy, is illustrated with 270 images from the alchemical books and manuscripts and from related works. Many of these images were here presented in print for the first time, and this book had a profound influence and gave inspiration to many scholars and esotericists to re-examine alchemical symbolism. Jung's Alchemical Studies is a series of essays on the secret of the golden flower, Zosamos, Paraclesis, the spirit of Mercurius, and the tree of life as an archetypical symbol in alchemy. In these essays, he is able to look in depth at particular aspects of alchemy. Probably one of the most difficult and yet influential of his books is the Mysterium Conjunctionitis, which he examines conjunctionitis. He examines the nature of the opposites of the human psyche in the alchemical tradition, the uniting of the alchemical king and queen, the male and female components of the psyche, is exhaustively investigated through the various alchemical ideas, symbols, sources, and texts. This book, which few people can have studied in depth, nevertheless provided key ideas for understanding the complexities of alchemical symbolism. And you can see some of the ancient alchemy. And let me pull this up over here. Let's pull up 360 here. Here we go. I believe it is... I think it's here. Yeah, this is what we want. Everybody make sure to hit that like, man. Abraxas. And this is Demopedia. So we can close some of this shit out right now. Okay. Abraxas, which is the mystical word probably of Gnostic or Kabbalistic origins, which conveys geometrically the number 365 and is connected with the solar cycle, right? Solar cycle, that is a solar return, right? A one orbit around the sun. The word is also associated with the highest Gnostic deity and eventually became the name of a demon in occultism. Now let's look at some of this too. The word Abraxas or Abrasax or Abracax, right, in Anglo-Sax, Abra, right, abracadabra, Abba, Ab-Ra, Abraham, right, was engraved on certain stones. Once again, it's on stones, right, minerals, metals, stones, living stone. And on that count, Abraxas stones, which were used as amulets or charms. Remember charms, luck, lucky, Lucifer, right? The word may be related to the word abracadabra. The initial spelling of the word, as seen on the stone, was Abraxas or Abrasax. The spelling seen today probably originates in the confusion made between the Greek letters sigma and xi and the Latin transliteration. Abraxas is described as a fat-bellied character with the head of a lion or a cock, sometimes crowned with a dragon's tail and serpents instead of legs. He also carries a whip in his hand. Imagine that, fat-bellied like Buddha, with the head of a lion, right? The lion-headed serpent, okay? Or a cock, right? Or a bird, which is like an eagle or the stork or any of that, which is always Jupiterian or inky. Sometimes crowned, right? It's crowned with a dragon's tail or an Ouroboros, a serpent, or a serpent instead of legs, right? Which, we know that there is like pan gods and shit like that have mammal legs and all of that. And then Wadjet, who has the serpent's legs as well in Egyptian mythos, also carries a whip in his hand, like a whip and flail, a staff, a wand, a rod, a scepter, right? Usually carried in the right hand as a symbol of power. Ancient mythologists placed Abraxas among the Egyptian gods. Abraxas was also the Persian sun god. And in Syria, he was the form of Lao, or an aspect for the name Yahweh. Right? In Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, right? Yahweh or Jehovah. And remember, Jehovah is Jove given, which is Jupiter also. It is said that the name was created to replace the unmentionable name of the Supreme Being. Abraxas is known from the Gnostic writings of Simon Magus, right? Magus, magician, right? Peter Simon, right? Father of the Gnostics and Basilides of Egypt, an early 2nd century Gnostic teacher. The Gnostics, a sect of 2nd century, claimed Abraxas as their supreme god and said that Jesus Christ was only a phantom sent to earth by him. How about that? Jesus Christ was only a phantom sent to earth by him. Now, before this offends the pants off of you, I want you to consider what that wording actually means. Jesus Christ was a man, correct? Right? And we all know in the book of Genesis, because of the Best Damn Podcast, that in the beginning, humankind was made in the image of God. An image, the literal etymology and translation is, drumroll please, are you ready for this? A phantom, a projection, an image, an illusion. It's a phantom. So when they say that Jesus Christ was only a phantom sent to earth by him, right? So that enlightened, illuminated spirit, the phantom of that illuminated being, the projection of the illuminated being, which would be Jesus the man. How about that? They believed that his name contained great mysteries. It was composed of 7 Greek letters that formed the number 365. And those 7 Greek letters are the 7 planets, right? And then 6 plus 5 is 11. 3 times 11 is 33, right? How this keeps popping up. And it was also the number of days in a year, right? And he's thought to be a sun god, right? The son of God. Abraxas, they taught, had under his command 365 gods to whom they attributed 365 virtues, one for each day. Afterwards, he broke out of the heretic Basilides. Where'd it go there? The phantom sent to earth by him. They believed that his name contained great mysteries, and it was composed of the 7 Greek letters that formed the numbers 365, which also is the number of days in a year. Abraxas, they thought, had under his command 365 gods to whom they attributed 365 virtues, one for each day. Afterwards, he broke out of the heretic Basilides. He affirmed there is a supreme deity by name, Abraxas, by whom was created mind, which in Greek calls nous, and therefore sprang the word. Yeah, and mind, right? That's also thought, toth, totme, right? Nous, nox, right? The night god, Pan, the one who plays the flute while you are sleeping, right? He's the mind, the mental. Abraxas, whose name, if computed, has in itself this number, now among the last of the angels, those he made this world, he places the God of the Jews latest, that is, the God of the law of the prophets, and he denies to be a God, but affirms... Jesus, man. I don't know why this keeps fucking popping up here. Alright. Abraxas, whose name, if computed, has in itself this number, now among the last of the angels, those who made this world, he places the God of the Jews latest, that is, the God of the law and of the prophets, whom he denies to be a God, but affirms to be an angel. So he says the God of the Jews, right, the God of the Bible, is an angel, right? And if he's Satan, and Christ said, your father is the father of lies, right, which is Satan, then he would be a fallen angel, and Abraxas would be right, according to a lot of schools of thought. There's a lot to probably support that. The latest, the God of the law of the prophets, whom he denies to be God, but affirms to be an angel, to him he says was allotted the seed of Abraham, and accordingly it was he who transferred the sons of Israel from the land of Egypt into the land of Canaan, affirming to him to be turbulent above the other angels, and accordingly given to the frequent arousing of seditions and wars, yes, and the shedding of human blood. Christ, moreover, he affirms, has been sent not by the maker of this world, but by the above named Abraxas, and to have come into phantasm and been destitute of the substance of flesh, that he was not, he was he who suffered among the Jews, but that Simon was crucified in his stead. Once again, there must be no believing on him who was crucified, lest one confesses to having believed on Simon. Martyrdoms, he says, are not to be endured. The resurrection of the flesh he strenuously impugns, affirming the salvation had not been promised to bodies. Tertullian Appendix. Yeah, so Simon, who was crucified upside down, right? He said it was Simon who was crucified instead of Jesus, right? A lot of people say it's Thomas the twin, doubting Thomas, but Peter crucified upside down at the Vatican, St. Peter's Square, right? Just saying, guys, there's a lot of symbolism within that. Now, Abraxas represented 365 aeons, or emanations from the first calls, and as a pantheist, an all-god, he appears in the ambulance in the head of a cock, or a phoebus, or a lion, or Mithras, the body of a man, and his legs are serpents, which terminate in scorpions, types of Agathadaemon. In his right hand, he grasps club or flail, and in his left hand, a round or oval shield, right? And once again, you know, the left and the right, the left having the shield or the book or whatever, right? And the right having the club, the flail, the sword, right? Occultism. Other occultists, many demonologists thought of Abraxas as a demon with similar appearances to the Gnostic god of the same name. It was very common for the gods and goddesses of pagan religions and heretic cults to be lessened the status of demons by Christian writers. In fact, deities of these heretic religions were the main source for Christian demons, and a god in a certain Asian theogons, for his name is derived from the magical world of abracadabra. His word, he is represented on an amulet as having the head of a cock, the feet of a dragon, and a whip in his hand. Demonologists have made him a demon with the head of a king and with serpents for his legs. The Egyptian Basilides, 2nd century heretics, looked upon him as their supreme god, finding that the 7 Greek letters contained in his name amounted to 365. The number of days in the year they place of the command several spirits who presided over the 365 heavens, and to whom they attributed 365 virtues, one for each day. The Basilides also said Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, was a benevolent spirit sent by the earth by Abraxas, that deviated from the doctrine of the leader. What? He deviated from the doctrine of the leader. Jung described a 3-stage development in the human perception of God. The first stage was that God appears undifferentiated. The second stage is the perception of a benevolent Lord and a devil, in which each are separate to the point where the devil is finally banished. The final stage is the integration of the Lord and the devil. In his The 7 Sermons to the Dead, he says Abraxas is the god whom it is difficult to know. His power is the very greatest, because no man does not perceive it. Man sees the summum bonum, or summum bonum, supreme god of the sun, and also the iridium malum, or endless evil of the devil. But Abraxas does not see for his indefinable life itself, if the mother of good and evil, aka Abraxas, is truly the terrible one, the sun, and also the moment when he strikes his prey down. His beauty is like the beauty of a spring mom. He is the monster of the underworld. He is the bright day and the deepest night of madness. He is the mightiest manifesting being, and in him creation becomes frightened of itself. Carl Jung quoted in Stuart Houdroy's The Elements of Gnosticism. 1,000 small-armed polyp called the knot of the winged serpent, the hermaphrodite of the earliest beginning, the lord of toads and frogs, which in the water, abundance that seeketh with emptiness. Carl Jung quoted the dramatic young Ed and Robert Sugar. Alright, sorry guys, that one was hard to read there. Let's go here too. Let's go here. Let's jump here now. The Kabbalion, and this is the Hermetic philosophy, and we're going to go through the 7 Hermetic principles really fast. All right, we're going to go through the 7 Hermetic principles. This is incredibly important. This is incredibly important because you have to understand how the principles work, how polarities work, how all of this actually works, and be able to use it for your benefit and actually be able to attract and repel and understand the magnetic flow of energies. Okay? So, this is huge. The Hermetic philosophy, the lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. From old Egypt have come the fundamental esoteric and occult teachings, which have so strongly influenced the philosophers of all races. There we go, make it bigger. Nations and peoples for several thousand years. Egypt, the home of the pyramids and the Sphinx and the birthplace of the hidden wisdom and the mystic teaching from her secret doctrine all nations have borrowed. India, Persia, Chaldea, Media, China, Japan, Assyria, ancient Greece and Rome, and other ancient countries partook liberally at the feast of knowledge, which the hierophants and the masters of the land of Isis so freely provided for those who came prepared to partake of the great store of mystic and occult lore, which the masterminds of the ancient land had gathered together. In ancient Egypt dwelt the great adepts and masters who've never been surpassed and who seldom have been equaled during the centuries that have taken their processional flight since the days of the great Hermes. In Egypt was located the great lodge of lodges of the mystics. At the doors of her temples entered the neophytes, who afterwards, as hierophants, adepts, and masters, traveled to the 4 corners of the earth, carrying with them the presaged knowledge of which they were ready, anxious and willing to pass on to those who were ready to receive the same. All students of the occult recognize the debt that they owe to these venerable masters of that ancient land. And I was actually watching something that was talking about that. I was talking about when you learn from the masters or you go through certain groups and organizations for illumination and enlightenment, the teaching that you receive, the degrees that you receive from their illuminating colleges, their heavenly colleges and courts, those degrees that you receive as a result of the teaching have a cost, right? And why would we pay, well, the ultimate cost, which is our spiritual selves, and we can lose our spiritual self. Why would we pay the ultimate cost for outdated teachings or teachings of debt, which are part of the old karmic cycle and the old karmic system that is designed for enslavement and imprisonment? Right? That's why Hermeticism means sealed. It's sealed. It's the sealed mysteries, the sealed knowledge, the real hidden truth of the sciences. But among the great masters of ancient Egypt there once dwelt one of whom hailed the master of masters. The man, if man indeed he was, dwelt in Egypt in the earliest days. He was known as Hermes Trismegistus, the father of occult wisdom, the founder of astrology, the discoverer of alchemy. The detail of his life and stories are lost to history, owing to the lapse of the years, through several of the ancient countries disputed with each other in their claims to having the honor of furnishing his birthplace. And the thousands of years ago, the date of his sojourn in Egypt, and that his last incarnation on the planet is not known, but he has been fixed at the early days of the oldest dynasties of Egypt. But long before the days of Moses, the best authorities regard him as a contemporary of Abraham, and some of the Jewish traditions go so far as to claim that Abraham acquired a portion of his mystic knowledge from Hermes himself. Wow. As the years rolled by after his passing of the plane of life, in traditions recording that he lived 300 years in the flesh, the Egyptians defiled Hermes. Right, yes, tens of centuries, calling him the scribe of the gods, bestowing upon him distinctively the ancient title Trismegistus, which means the thrice great, the great, the greatest great, etc. In all the lands, the name Hermes Trismegistus was revered, the name being synonymous with the founder of wisdom. Now, here we go. Let's keep it moving. The 7 principles. The principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality underlying all the outward manifestations and appearances which we know under the terms of the material universe, and the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short, all that is apparent to our material senses is spirit, which is in itself unknowable and undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as a universal, infinite living mind. It also explains that the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, subjects of the laws of created things, and that the universe as a whole, or in part or units, has its existence in the mind of the all, in which mind we live and move and have our being. The principle, by establishing the mental nature of the universe, easily explains all of the varied mental and psychic phenomena that occupy such a large portion of the public attention, and which, without such explanation, are non-understandable and defy scientific treatment. An understanding of this great Hermetic principle of the mentalism enables the individual to readily grasp the laws of the mental universe and to apply the same to his well-being and advancement. This is a master key, right? The Hermetic student is enabled to apply intelligently the great mental laws instead of using them in a haphazard manner. With the master key in his possession, the student may unlock the many doors of the mental and psychic temple of knowledge and enter the same freely and intelligently. The principle explains the true nature of energy, power, and matter, and why and how all of these are subordinate to the mastery of matter, and why and how all these are subordinate to the mastery of mind. One of the old Hermetic masters wrote long ages ago, "He who grasps the truth of the mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path to mystery." And these words are as true today as the time they were when first written. Without his master key, mastery is impossible, and the student knocks in vain at the many doors of the temple. Number 2, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. The principle embodies a truth that there is always correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of being and life. The old Hermetic axiom ran in these words: as above, so below; as below, so above. And the grasping of this principle gives one the means of solving many a dark paradox and hidden secret nature. There are planes beyond our knowing, but when we apply the principle of correspondence to them, we are able to understand much that would otherwise be unknowable to us. The principle is of universal application and manifestation on the various planes of the material, mental, and spiritual universe. It is in universal law. The ancient Hermetists considered the principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which he was able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from view the unknown. It is used even to tear aside the veil of Isis to the extent that a glimpse of the face of the goddess might be caught. Yeah. It says, just as distant suns in their movements, while seated in the observatory, so knowledge of the principle of correspondence enables man to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown. Studying the monad, he understands the archangel. Number 3, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, nothing is at rest. Facts which modern science endorses and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify. And yet this Hermetic principle was enunciated thousands of years ago by the masters of ancient Egypt. The mystery explains that the differences between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit result largely from varying rates of vibration. From the all, which is pure spirit, down to the grossest form of matter. All is in vibration. The higher the vibration, the higher position for the scale. The vibration of spirits is at such an infinite rate of intensity and rapidity that it's practically at rest, just as a rapidly moving wheel seems to be motionless, and at the other end of the scale there are gross forms of matter whose vibrations are so low as to seem at rest. But these poles, there are millions and millions upon of varying degrees of vibration, from corpuscle and electron, atom and molecule, to the worlds and universes. Everything is in vibratory motion. This is also true on the planes of energy and before, which are varying degrees of vibration, and also on the mental planes, which state depends upon vibrations, and even to the spiritual planes. And understanding this principle with the appropriate formulas enables Hermetic students to control one mental vibration as well those of others. The masters also apply this principle to the conquering of natural phenomena in various ways. He understands the principle of vibration. He has grasped the scepter of power, says one of the old writers. Number 4, the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet, and all truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The principle embodies that everything is dual, everything has two poles, everything has a pair of opposites, all of which were the old Hermetic axioms. It explains the old paradoxes that have perplexed so many, which have been stated as follows. Thesis and antithesis are identical in nature but different in degree. Opposites are the same, differing only in degree. The pairs of opposites may be reconciled, extremes meet, and everything is and isn't at the same time. All truths are half-truths, every truth is half-false. There are two sides to everything, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. The principle of rhythm, number 5. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides, and all things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything the measure of the swing. To the right of the measure, to the swing, to the left. It compensates. The principle embodies a truth that everything there is manifested a measured motion to and fro, flow and inflow, swing backward and forward, pendulum-like movement, a tide-like ebb and flow, and a high tide and low tide. And this is where, we get pendulums, right, which are crystals that are on, silver chains or, things like that, amulets, different forms of that are used to harness the connections to the nervous system through the fingers, right? The pulse in the fingers, to show you the energetic pendulum swing of energies to give you yes and no answers and all kinds of shit. Right? It's a form of divination as well. But it's how you can get quick yes and no answers. Between the poles which exist in accordance with the principle of polarity described a moment ago, there is also an action and a reaction, an advance and a retreat, and a rising and a sinking, the affairs of the universe. Suns, worlds, and men, animals, mind, energy, and matter. The law in the manifested creation, destruction of the worlds, and the rise and fall of nations in the life of all things, and finally in the mental states of man. It is with this later that the Hermetist finding the understanding of the principle most important. Six, the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. And there are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. The principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect for every cause. It explains that everything happens according to the law, that nothing ever merely happens, that there is no such thing as chance, that while there are various planes of cause and effect, the higher dominating the lower planes, still nothing ever entirely escapes the law. The Hermetists, under the art and methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree. And by mentally rising to a higher plane, they became causers instead of effects. The masses of people obedient to the environment, the wills and desires of the others, stronger than themselves, heredity, suggestion, and other outward causes, moving them about like pawns on the chessboard of life. But the masters rising to the plane above, the waters above the firmament, right, the courts of heaven, dominate their moods, characters, qualities, and powers, as well as the environment surrounding them, and become movers instead of pawns. They help to play the game of life instead of being played, and move about by others' wills and environment. They use the principles instead of being its tools. The masters obey the causation of the higher planes, but they help to rule on their own plane. In this statement, there is condensed a wealth of Hermetic knowledge. Let him who reads, who can. Dude, and this one does have a wealth of knowledge, right? Talking about the game of life here. Huge, 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 huge. And finally, 7, the principle of gender. Gender is everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine. Principle gender manifests on all planes. The principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything. The masculine and feminine principles ever at work. This is true not only on the physical plane, but on the mental plane and even the spiritual planes. On the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex, which is also 6, right? Carnal. And the higher planes, it takes higher forms, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, mental, or spiritual, is possible without this principle. An understanding of its laws will throw light on many a subject that has perplexed the minds of men. The principle of gender works in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. Everything and every person contains the 2 elements or principles of this great principle within it, him or her. Every male thing has a female element, and every female contains also the male principle. If you would understand the philosophy of the mental and spiritual creation and generation and regeneration, you must understand and study the Hermetic principle. Yeah, man. You know, see, and these principles here, right? These principles, these break down the nature of our reality so we can understand it from an energetic and a magnetic standpoint, right? The principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, and the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of gender, right? So you guys definitely want to study the Kabbalion if you have not. I am going to make sure that I do just a lot more, work on the Kabbalion. And why is my ex-co-host keep requesting money on here? Come on, bro. Stop doing that stuff. Wow. All that glitters. And we've talked about this too. The true origins of gold in our universe must change again. Return of Anunnaki or Nibiru. Too much gold in the universe. No one knows where it came from. Something is showering gold across the universe, but no one knows. Yeah, so, look, it said that Nibiru has the atmosphere of gold, right? And it is the nemesis planet, so it's very symbolic. And, Marduk destroys it, who rises up and becomes the king after Enlil. Okay, so I believe actually we're going to stop this one. We're going to stop this one here tonight. I'm starting to get tired. It's getting late. And I can't read that well now. So we're going to go ahead and stop this part 1 right here, everybody. So please make sure if you're in the chat, you hit this, give this a like and a thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe and click the bell. That way you get notified. I'll be doing part 2 tomorrow. And we're going to be doing videos like this and talking about these type of things a lot of series on this stuff. I'm trying to create new and exciting content, new ways to look at the new paradigm and kind of guide us through ascension, but we got to get through the basics first before we can get into the good stuff, but we're working our way through it. So I hope tonight wasn't too painful for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I do want to ask that everyone please consider donating and supporting to our channel. We are completely viewer powered. That means you and you alone are what funds this channel and what keeps it going. And this is my livelihood, and this is what keeps me going. I did mention that I was trying to raise some funds. We are still like $200 short of our monthly goal this month, and that's just the bills for the channel itself, like the software and the different streaming services and all of that. And that's how the channel operates and is able to do all the shows and have the Discords and all of that cool, the drop boxes and all that cool stuff. So Everybody out there, please step up if you can. Manifest some prosperity and abundance. Help me manifest some prosperity and abundance. Help your spiritual family out. Help keep this community going, and consider donating and giving. I also did mention too, I've got some passion projects I'm working on. I'm trying to make a shift and create clothing. Okay, guys, like I'm doing big time stuff with that. Like I want to create really cool clothing and merch. So this is something I'm going to be diving deep into. If people are interested, hit me up. I'm going to get into the little fashion side of this and like make truther clothing and stuff. It's going to be really cool. I'm looking for people to invest or people to help, with designing and all that. If you're interested in helping with the channel, hit me up. You want to invest in the channel, sponsorship, any of that. We're trying to keep things going, and because of the changes in the world, it's been very, very challenging. Also, one of the reasons I'm trying to raise extra funds is my oldest son's birthday is in like a day from now. So the last few days I've tried to mention it on the show. I just want to be able to get my baby something nice, man. So, and it has been a tough time lately. So I'm hoping somebody will help me out there the way I can make it happen. I'm staying positive and putting my thoughts and my intentions out into the universe because this is what I want to attract. This is what I want to create, and that's how it works. You have to say what it is you intend to do. I intend to reach the monthly goal. I intend to buy my son a nice birthday present. I intend to start new fashion and clothing business through my channel and other avenues. I intend to create a beautiful spiritual community full of pillars of wisdom and knowledge, and a large spiritual network that goes all the way across the globe of illumination and enlightenment that brings strength and power to those that have been voiceless. That those have been voiceless, and we can bring healing and charity and just beauty to everyone we come across and spread this awareness and spread this awakening like wildfire. And we have to do it by showing what kind of people we are. By our character, by how we carry ourselves, by our knowledge, by our work ethic, and I'm telling you, nobody works harder than I do on this stuff. I work my ass off. I know you guys do too, though. I know you do too. I know you study, you're addicted to learning. You're addicted to knowledge. You're addicted to growing. That's the path of illumination. That's the path of self-mastery. It's the number one thing in your life if you're on that path, because nothing is greater than reaching the end goal of your own soul, of your vestment, your robe, your crown, your throne, your own soul, your own divine union, your own divine marriage, right, with the Holy Spirit. Taking that shadow self, cleansing it of all of its dirt, its guilt, its shame of the past, healing it of its wounds and its trauma, and transmuting it into something beautiful and integrating the two, making the two become one, birthing the Son of God, the Christ, the anointed, putting on the crown, the kingship, the priestship, the queenship, your birthright, sovereignty, being a true sovereign ruler of your own reality, your own creation, and choosing who you want to co-create and coexist with. And I hope that you choose to co-create and coexist with our family here, because we really, really do have a strong, strong backbone in our family, and we have strong, strong pillars, guys. I'm telling you, there is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information. Join us on Discord, chat with the people, join our Facebook group, there's over 1,000 people in the Facebook group, over 1,000 people on the Discord. So we got a few different outlets. You can check out the website. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. We're on Twitch, D Live, Facebook. YouTube, TikTok, you name it, man. We're there, dude. And, if you're interested, book a tarot reading, guys. They are extremely, extremely helpful for, just kind of seeing the way the energies are around you and the energies that lie ahead and understanding different possibilities. And I tell you what, man, I am really getting good at my craft when it comes to divination and tarot card reading. Like, I'm getting really good at it. So I enjoy doing personal readings quite a bit too. Maybe I will do some discounted readings. If people book a reading in the next 24 hours, I will give them the reading for, the reading for $35. I'll give them a $35 reading. If you book a reading in the next 24 hours, $35 instead of $50 for the reading. So by the time the next video comes out, everybody who books a reading in the next 24 hours gets it for $35. Just go to PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App and put tarot reading in the note or the receipt or whatever, and either put your phone number or text 513-393-2396, 513-393-2396, or email the Real Best Damn Podcast at gmail.com and put tarot reading, and that you sent your donation or whatever. You pay, you get it within 24 hours of payment. I usually try to do it right as soon as you pay, but it's late tonight, so we would do it tomorrow, obviously. But you'll text, and I'll ask you the most convenient time. We'll book your appointment, and if you can't do the phone, it's about 30-45 minutes on the phone. If you can't, or on Discord, if you can't do that, then I will make you your own personal video and send it to you that way, or upload it and give you the private link that way, right? So you'll still get, your own personal reading. It's within 24 hours. Also, I'm going to discount the soul profiles for the next 24 hours too. Instead of $100, I will give them away for $75 if you buy one within the next 24 hours. It is an intuitive, energetic reading as well as a full tarot reading. I do Celtic cross spread with clarifiers and everything. We look at the elements in your natal chart. We look at the ley lines that you are born on. We look at your current astrology and how it pertains to current astrological alignments. We also look at the GEMATRIA, as well as the etymology of your family name and your name, the numerology of your name, your life path number. It's just so much, man. I really do a good research on you, and you get a really thorough tarot reading with it as well. $75 if you book that before the next video. $35 if you book a personal tarot reading before the next video, and you do that PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, or Facebook Pay, and then you just put, soul profile or tarot reading, right? And I will know because, it'll be before the next video, and you'll get a discount. And the soul profile comes within 3 days, okay? 3 days. I'll do your tarot reading for you within 24 hours if you want it. But the rest will come within 3 days because I have to have time to put it all together because it is a lot. So, also, consider joining us. YouTube channel memberships, Facebook fan subscriptions, go pledge over on Patreon. You want to know what's cool about Patreon? So you can join the Best Damn Fam for $35 a month, which if you join the Best Damn Fam, I will give you a discount in the next 24 hours for $25 this month, just for this till the next video. So $25 a month for just this video. This is my way of trying to generate revenue. I'm trying to create opportunity here and change. That's the best way to create possibility, is by creating change and positivity. You will get a new free merch item every 3 months if you do it through Patreon, and it's $35 a month. I believe 35 is the one where you can the lease package to be able to actually get the free merch too. But you get free merch every 3 months. If you do $50, you get like hoodies and shit, dude, every 3 months, and I gotta pay for it, so it comes out of my pocket, but it's worth it because you guys are pledging on a monthly basis. Not only that, you get tarot readings for joining. You get access to all our private Discord shows, which I'll probably be doing a private Discord show either tomorrow or the day after. We probably will do part 2 tomorrow sometime. I don't know for a fact if we're going to do it on Discord or how we're going to do it, but everybody who donates, no matter if you only donate $5, $10, gets to watch the Discord shows live. And I am now upgrading the roles again. So it's back to, you got to have the Best Damn Fam role to be able to watch the private Discord shows. Just because it just keeps everything honest, man. And, we really are trying to generate, revenue and keep everything going. So I just want to keep it fair. So everybody that donates gets that role, though. And those who have the Best Damn Fam monthly membership get access to the entire library. It's over 100 videos, and they go back for years. They're all 2-3 hour long live shows of the craziest content, from human trafficking to back to Luciferos, graphene, every fucking thing you can think of, man. We have covered it in depth, and they were all private, so they're up nowhere in the public, man. And the last few that we've done, the last few weeks, are all up there as well. So go check that out. You can get those links on the YouTube channel memberships, those who get the higher tiers for that. And also on Patreon too. And I do astrology updates over on Patreon. I post books and show notes over on Patreon when I get it. So anything I try to get extra, I try to put on Patreon. So go pledge over on Patreon, donate, book a tarot reading, book a soul reading, or consider giving and helping for the fundraiser. I'm trying to move right now, start new fashion and stuff like that for the channel to try to keep things going. And my son Gage is turning 13, so I really want to give you something nice. So thank you so much, guys. Hit that like, share the link, leave a comment, let me know what you think.